Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut, and hopefully like this video. A lot of new people coming in here, leaving great comments. I welcome you. Of course, a lot of people are subscribing. I welcome you too. And if you watch for the first time, it's a very different channel than what you're going to find on YouTube or anywhere else. But this is the best channel, believe it or not. Believe it or not. So the Mets have been very busy. They signed Juan Soto, and we got so many rumors. It's tough to keep up with them. But a lot of them are based upon the fact the Mets are willing to spend a lot of money, and the fact they're willing to bring in big, top-notch players for this ball club of ours, our favorite team, America's team. And but we have a new player here, and we've been talking about him a lot on and off. And that's Japanese ace Roki Sasaki, who is leaving Japan early, and he got posted, but the thing is that he is considered an amateur according to Major League Baseball. So if he's over 25, you're considered a professional player, but he's 23, so he's considered an amateur. So he's part of the international bonus pool. Now teams have about 45 days since he was posted to sign him. According to reports, the Mets are considered one of the top destinations from who could sign him. This is from SI.com. Mets deemed top 3 destinations for Japanese ace. New York Mets appear to be top players in the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes. Very talented pitcher and young pitcher too. There have been multiple reports in recent weeks about the New York Mets showing interest in 23-year-old Japanese pitching phenom Roki Sasaki. ESPN insider Jeff Passan wrote in a December 7th article that the Mets are among the teams expected to be significant players in the Sasaki sweepstakes. And on December 10th, Sasaki's agent Joel Wolfe said that his client, who is 29-15 with a 2.10 ERA and 505 strikeouts in 394 and a third innings through 4 seasons in Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball League, could handle playing in New York. Wasn't that interesting? There's been all kinds of rumors about him not wanting to be here, wanting to be here, but we're going to find out. Sasaki's willingness to play in the Big Apple, plus the Mets' clear desire to improve their roster by any means necessary, is likely what made Bleacher Report's Zachary Reimer call them the third most likely team to sign Sasaki in a December 15th article. I'll read you part of it, and then we'll get into the article. If Sasaki desires the biggest platform possible, the Mets are one of just 2 teams that can offer him a chance to pitch in baseball's largest markets. And right now, they can make a more compelling case than the other one. The other team is obviously the Yankees. Whereas the Yankees are an older team with an uncertain future, the Mets are a team on the rise. They just came within 2 wins of making it to the World Series. And now they have a $1.1 billion star duo in Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor. They may also have an ace-in-the-hole pitching coach, Jeremy Hefner. Quote, there's a realistic scenario in which the Mets become the Dodgers of the East Coast, and if so, the franchise 38-year championship drought is likely on borrowed time. It certainly is on borrowed time. It really is. Sasaki becoming a Met would be another massive acquisition, but has already been an extremely successful offseason. Now, the top 2 teams on this list, before we get into more detail what Reimer wrote, the top 2 teams on this list that can be destination spots are the Dodgers #1 and the San Diego Padres. The belief is and the thought is that Sasaki's very close with Yu Darvish. Now, what's interesting about these 3 teams in particular, they all have Japanese. They have a lot of Japanese players on them. A lot of Japanese connections there. Obviously, with Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto with the Dodgers, Yu Darvish with the Padres, and of course, Kodai Senga with the Mets. All these teams have real good connections. I also, then the 4th team in this list is the Yankees, and obviously they have a long history of great Japanese players like Masataka Tanaka, Godzilla, of course. Can't forget about him. So there's a lot of players here that have connections to these teams. So, but for this video, we're talking about the Mets, and they go through the Mets record: 89-73 last year. They finished in 2nd place in the National League East, tied. Right now, the Mets rotation is Kodai Senga, Frankie Montas, David Peterson, Clay Holmes, and Paul Blackburn. But we also have other guys like Jose Butto we can talk about. Of course, Tyler McGill. But there's also belief that they will try their best to re-sign Sean Manaea, which is a key player here. He's left-handed, and the Mets could certainly have him back. And also there's all kinds of trade rumors about Luis Castillo in particular. Dylan Cease. I've done plenty of videos on there. You can check it out on the channel. In addition to, you got another team with a Japanese ace already in place. The Mets are already known to be interested in Sasaki. They're another significant player in his sweepstakes, according to Passan. It's Jeff Passan. This was apparent even before the news of Sasaki's travel. This was apparent even before the news of Sasaki's posting broke, as Mets president of baseball operations Dave Stearns traveled to Japan in September to watch Sasaki pitch. If Sasaki desires the biggest platform possible, the Mets are one of just two teams that can offer him a chance to pitch in baseball's largest market. And right now, they can make a more compelling case than the other one. Whereas the Yankees are an older team with an uncertain future. Again, to sort of mention this, Aaron Judge is 32 years old. Okay? And Garrett Cole is 34 years old. That could have been many reasons why Juan Soto left. And they don't have a great farm system. I mean, even though they always rated high, Jason Dominguez, why wasn't he playing in the postseason over Alex Verdugo? There's very big question mark there why that didn't happen. So their farm system is not considered really that good. So the Mets are a team on the rise. They just came within 2 wins of making it to the World Series. Now they have a $1.1 billion star duo in Soto and Lindor. They may also have an ace in the hole in pitching coach Jeremy Hefner. They can say, well, the Yankees made the World Series. The Yankees finally made the World Series because the lineup was a little more balanced. But obviously, there's issues there. I don't know what the issue is with the Yankees. Okay, I'm going to be very, very honest with you folks. I'm very concerned. Just as a baseball fan, not concerned, but curious to see what's going on in that organization. But anyway, it's not my problem. It's not your problem as Met fans. Quote, I know the Wasserman Group who are representing him are very high on Jeremy Hefner, and that does have some influence here, Jim Bowden said. There's a realistic scenario in which the Mets become the Dodgers of the East Coast. That would be great. And if so, the franchise's 38-year championship drought is likely on borrowed time. Yet if Sasaki does secretly prefer the West Coast, there are 2 super contenders in Southern California that would be all too glad to have him. Now, David Stearns at the winter meetings has said that he expects the Mets not to sign him. They're building their team with the expectation that he's not going to be with the Mets, which is probably a smart thing, right? Going through his numbers, you're going to say, well, he hasn't thrown a lot of innings, but he's 23 years old, and it's kind of in line with 23-year-old pitchers here in the States. So I don't think that his innings are that crazy in terms of the amount of innings, in terms of the amount of pitches. I think it's very much in line with what other pitchers at his age and his caliber are doing. He's very similar, I guess, to Paul Skeens, although Paul Skeens, pitched in a big program in college in Tennessee, and of course, obviously Japan is a very competitive league. Obviously, they've come up with some great pitchers, and of course Ichiro Suzuki, but what's interesting to me is that everything, I've said this in other videos, the Mets, everything's open. This is a great offseason because it's almost like, you wake up, finally after a long sleep, and and you see what there's so many opportunities the Mets can have in this situation. They can bring in the best players, the best pitchers, because the wallet is open. And obviously the Mets can really say, well, we brought in Juan Soto, and we didn't care how much it cost. We want to win, win, win. And that's what the ownership has done in this situation. This is why it's so important to keep this rolling, keep this going. I can kind of put this in a different perspective from the past. When the Mets signed Pedro Martinez, what was the next domino to fall? They signed Carlos Beltran. He said this was the new Mets. Now, this is really the new Mets because now you have a team that has an owner that doesn't care how much he spends. Previous ownership was a little weird, obviously. But you can't underscore how important signing Juan Soto is. Not just so much just signing him and get him on the field, but it's like the next step. What is the next step for the New York Mets as a team and as an organization? It really highlights a situation that can really put them in good shape for the future. For other players, international players, like amateur players that are coming from Dominican, or young players coming from Venezuela or from Japan or wherever. And of course, all the sort of players in the United States too. So that's how important this is. Juan Soto's signing is. It's not just so much they spent a lot of money on him. It's a domino effect. And I think some people don't understand it and say, wow, they're going to burn their team. It's not about so much about him. It's about the next player and the next player after that. And that's where the general manager comes in. And that's why David Stearns is so important in terms of doing his job and making sure he brings in the right people and bring them in the right situation with this team. So signing Juan Soto just as a decision, it's easy. Obviously, given the money, it isn't. But a guy like Sasaki is one of these players that is a good player. I've not seen him, so I can't say what kind of stuff he has other than what I've read. So I don't know. But he's considered the best player, the best pitcher in Japan right now. And a lot of people thought that he was probably better than Yamamoto last year. So you let me know what you think about this video. And of course, you have any suggestions for trades or signings, leave it in the comments section. Of course, this is the best Mets channel online. And hit the subscribe button before you go, and I'll see you later.